Is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
We're joined today by Rupert Verco, Chief Executive of Cobra Resources, Epic code COBR, who have a number of projects in Southern Australia. Hello, Rupert. How are you today?
Hi, Alan. I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for taking the time to speak to me.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. So, Rupert, we're going to take a look back at the year. It's been a very strong year for Cobra on so many levels, and also I think in terms of share price performance, we've seen a decent recovery in your share price since November this year. And of course, your primary asset is at Wadena, but we've seen the Boland rare earths project evolve during the year as well. Can you just tell us and give us a bit of a summary of what you see as the main steps you've taken this year?
Sure, Alan. Well, 2023 for Cobra has really been a year of both resource growth. So we've increased our gold resources by over 30%. And in addition to that, in the course of about 8 months, we announced 2 rare earth resources that lie above a portion of that gold resource, which now sits at over 40 million tonnes. So there's been some excellent growth through resource-focused expansion drilling. And then we've had discovery success where we've applied an alternate model to come up with an ionic rare earth discovery within a setting that is amenable to very low cost in situ recovery mining. So that's going to be a key component of what we're doing with the project going forwards. We see significant value with it. Therefore, we've moved to establish and take 100% ownership of it, where we've acquired the remaining 25% of the project from Andromeda Metals, and we've just finished a placing to raise funds to be able to advance the program in 2024.
Excellent. Well, I spoke to your colleague Dan Mailing at the One-to-One Mining Investing Show in London, and he was very enthused by the progress you've made. And but I think particularly the rare earths project has captured the imagination of quite a few people. And of course, you signed an agreement with the Australian Nuclear Science and Technology Organisation. I think they conducted an assessment of the project. Can you tell us about that?
Certainly. So, look, to paint the context, rare earths can be very capital intensive to be able to bring a rare earth project into operation. And that is a challenge for many rare earth companies. And we see that as being a significant opportunity with Boland discovery, being the fact that the mineralization is ionic. We're getting very high recoveries under desorption conditions, which are very low cost. And owing to the geology, we can effectively in situ recover it, which means that we don't need to mine it, we don't need to truck it, we don't need to mill it, and we don't need to have a tailings dam to store waste products. So it's a very cost-effective process of mining that is widely used in uranium, and as a business case, it's demonstrated to be significantly more cost-effective and less capital-intensive. So that gives us a significant advantage. And what we see at Boland, we believe, is largely scalable. We see it being a province-scale opportunity. And we see that we believe we have great upside with enrichment of magnet rare earths and heavy rare earths in particular, that the market is wanting to see diversity of supply away from China. So we're really excited about that. And what we want to be able to demonstrate going into 2024 is how we advance and demonstrate what our market opportunities are with in-situ recovery. So you'll see exploration program in 2024 really trying to unlock and demonstrate the value of ISR and demonstrate those other two key components, Alan, being scale and increased grades. So that's really going to be a focus for us, and we'll be starting on that work early in the new year.
Excellent, excellent. And of course, you also signed a memorandum of understanding with Water Cycle Technologies to collaborate on the extraction process. Can you just elaborate on that?
Absolutely. So this is to build upon the initial metallurgical work that ANSTO did for us initially, which confirmed the ionic style of mineralization. So we're getting high recoveries up to 65% heavy rare earths and 58% magnets at relatively benign acidities under ion absorption techniques, which is what China has been able to utilize to basically build a unrivaled industry. And what we hope to be able to do, Alan, through our partnership with some very capable and successful mines at Water Cycle, is to be able to apply their membrane desorption technologies to a process that is compatible with ISR for rare earths. Have demonstrated success with lithium, and we believe that there is some crossover to the rare earths industry. And we want to be able to develop a cost-effective system to define a flow sheet that is compatible with our discovery. And we see that as being a significant advantage and will hopefully put us in front of the rest of the pack in defining a feasible way of extracting these rare earths whilst maintaining a minimal and very conscious environmental footprint.
That's very encouraging. I have also spoken to other companies engaged in rare earth exploration in Australia, and the Australian government, I understand, are also very keen to provide support for these projects too. Is that something that's on your radar at the moment?
Absolutely. With the support and the structure of the IRA funding or focus for funding out of the US, and Australia's ambitions and commitments to critical minerals is certainly something that aspiring companies such as us are very conscious of as we develop and progress our projects. And we feel like to be recognised for this, we really need to demonstrate the ISR component. So what we want to be able to demonstrate there is we want to take a very considered exploration approach that gives us the technical and assay information very early on this year in 2024. But we also want it to be able to provide the infrastructure for us to fast track towards a pilot study for in-situ recovery. So we'll see a very considered exploration approach that will advance that in the near term.
So Rupert, we discussed the Boland rare earth project and the developments there, but of course you also acquired another asset in Tasmania too, another rare earth asset. Can you tell us about that?
Well, sure, Alan. Over 12 months ago, we saw the great work that ABX Resources were doing in Tasmania, where they were getting very high ionic rare earth recoveries. And in context, there's probably, apart from Boland and what they have at Ruble Mound, there's only a handful of others that have true ionic metallurgy. So we saw it was very much an opportunistic approach in that we pegged ground that we saw had potential. And look, it's very much not our main focus, but we'll be looking at being able to demonstrate value there, but doing it in a very cost-conscious approach. So some low-impact geophysics we'll look to do in 24 with some auger sampling as we introduce ourselves as operators to the stakeholders down there. So opportunistic, not our main focus, but we see value in putting that into our asset package.
Excellent. Well, Rupert, we've seen great progress with the company share price since November this year. Can you give investors a flavour of what they can look forward to in the first quarter of 2024?
Sure. Well, one of our major focuses going into 2024 is to really demonstrate the benefit and the potential of in-situ recovery. So we'll have a very considered exploration program that will hope to demonstrate to the market or unlock the value of what Boland is and why ISR is so important. So we will firstly in January hope to have results back from reanalysis from our greater land package, and what that will hopefully do is demonstrate scale. And then immediately afterwards, we'll be in the field drilling sonic core holes that will provide us detailed samples that will hopefully demonstrate what we believe will be grade upside. And then those holes will inform potentially a future pilot study. We'll install the borehole infrastructure for that. And then the samples from the core holes will then provide bench scale samples for in situ recovery studies, and then the pregnant solutions from that will be passed on to water cycle to advance the flow sheet through membrane desorption. So these work programs will be key catalysts for very important and very valuable news flow.
Excellent. Well, it looks as though investors have an awful lot more to look forward to in quarter one 2024. Just remains for me to say, Rupert Verco, Chief Executive of Cobra Resources, many thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for your time, Alan.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.